What's up, tea drinkers? Who's ready to spill? Welcome to The Tea with KG, hosted by your girl, Kaylee Grace. Here you'll find your weekly boost of real talk mixed with laughter, healing, and all of those vulnerable, messy moments in between. The Tea with KG is a safe space for you to show up exactly as you are. We are here to share real-life stories from around the globe and be a community of love, joy, and celebrating life. This is a real deal show, so there will be coarse language and sensitive topics discussed. The most beautiful stories oftentimes emerge from the darkest of places, and we're here to explore it all. There's room for everyone at this tea time, so grab your drink of choice, spark it up, or just relax and soak it up. Cheers, and let's spill. What's up, tea drinkers? We are back with another episode of The Tea with KG. I'm your host, Kaylee Grace, and I have another amazing guest joining me this week. We have the beautiful Kristina Cressman joining us from Van City. What up, girl?
Yeah.
So Kristina and I met, it feels like it was yesterday, but my space and concept of time is very skewed. I think it was August, right?
Yes.
August 12th. So she was one of the organizers with the Rose and Thorn Fashion Show. A lot of you saw some of those photos on my Instagram. It was such a beautiful event. And we got to talking and I was like, you need to be on my podcast. And we just bonded over the simplest things. And we were like, yes, we love pink. Yes, we're all about the unicorn magic. So it's like the universe brought us together as it always does. And I'm super excited to have you today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yay. Oh, it's going to be so good. So like I mentioned, Kristina was one of the organizers of that fashion show through Downtown Van. She's also a boss business lady. She's got Unicorn Dreams Beauty and also does VHS Markets, which she'll get into because we're going to get the good old who are you and what do you do?
Cool. All right. So, yes, I put on markets, pop-up markets, through VHS Markets, which I started almost 7 years ago. But before I started
Wow.
putting on markets, I started, it was just Unicorn Dreams. And it started with crystal necklaces that I wire wrapped.
Yes.
Um, at first, I just started collecting crystals because they're beautiful, but then
Oh my God, yes. I'm like
there's
looking around my room. I'm like, I've got there. They're everywhere.
and they're so beautiful, but then I did start to feel a connection to them. So yeah, I started Unicorn Dreams, I'd say almost, oh God, like 8 or 9 years ago.
Wow.
And it was also because I quit smoking, so it was something great for me to do with my hands.
Yes.
And then I started doing, your dog's so cute.
I know Benson's like, hello.
So adorable. And so I started selling at different markets and selling to my friends. And then I just started going like, I should put on my own markets. I'm meeting so many like-minded people that need
Yeah.
opportunity. So I just thought, you know what? I may as well try. And I first started the markets with my friend Mudra, and we put on our first one. It was so random at Tinseltown Market in Caveman Cafe. And then she decided she didn't want to do the markets anymore. We're still great friends, so I did it alone for a little while. And then my current partner now, Justin, we've been together for just over 6 years. He now
Wow.
runs the markets with me. So
That's
yeah.
so fun. I love that when you can work with your partner. That is so good.
It's really great. And then I'm also always working full time as well. So right now it's with Downtown Vancouver Business Improvement Association. My role is lead events and partnerships. And they said, okay, you can do one public event this year. Because the events that I put on are private events. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to do a fashion show. And that's where Rose and Thorn started. And I do have an experience with fashion shows. Randomly decided to put one on just over 6 years ago. And
Yes.
our gallery didn't know what I was doing, just wanted to do it for fun. And then that's actually where I met Justin, my partner. He was in the audience.
It
So
was
that's
meant to be.
very meant to be. Very
I
cool.
love that.
Yeah.
That's the best. I literally live for these stories where the universe is just like, here you
Oh,
go. Here's another thing and another one.
it's so obvious too. Sometimes.
Oh, right. And sometimes when you look back in retrospect, you're like, damn, like I totally feel that. That's amazing. Oh my God. You wear so many hats and you wear them well, girl. Wearing
Oh,
them well.
thanks.
So, as you guys saw from that beautiful intro, Christina does a lot. But as we all know in life, we have a freaking journey, each and every one of us. Even I know myself, my own journey. I look and I'm like, my God, I'm like, how many lives have I lived in this lifetime
Yeah,
alone? Like, it's wild, right?
totally.
So, I always love to get people's stories because I just feel like it's the easiest and best way for us to connect and be
Mhm.
compassionate towards people and just share our truth. And that's what's so beautiful about this world because it helps us realize we're not alone. Oh, I can relate to that person. So let's hear your story, honey. Let's get in there.
Well, I mean, it's a lot. So, I mean, I probably won't be able to share everything today, because it's quite a story. I'm like you, where I'm like, how many lives have I led? Like just in this
Right?
one life, if that makes any sense.
Oh, it totally does. It totally does. Our growth journey and the evolution of our souls and like the shedding of layers. Oh my God. It's a lot, girl.
Okay, so you get it.
I feel you. You're with the right people here.
Yes. Where to begin? I have worked from a very young age. My very first job was age 13, working for Domino's
Okay.
Pizza. They were 2 blocks away from me, and my girlfriend lived another 2 blocks away. And we said, we really want to work for Domino's Pizza. Um, and this is when we were 12 years old, but we were like, we finally got the job when we were 13 after asking so many times.
Yeah.
And yeah, we made $6.50 training wage. And they said, okay, you can wave a flag. You can wave like a giant Domino's pizza flag. So we're like, okay. So yeah, our very first day, we were waving this huge Domino's flag, and then a bird shit on me, and I did take that as like a kind of sign. I'm like, oh, this is good luck. Okay, I'm supposed to be here. So for some reason, even at such a young age, I've been into spiritual stuff.
Yes, you were always connected. I feel that way too. And it's so amazing as you get older to be like, that it was real. Like it wasn't
Yes.
just me being young and being like, woo. It was all real and for a reason. So I love that so, so much.
Yeah, so I stayed there for a while. It was just so funny. The shenanigans that two young girls would get up to. Eventually they let us like work in the store, having pizza dough competitions of who could stretch it out the longest and hit each other the hardest. Just like really fun stuff. They trusted me to open up the shop. I stayed there until I was almost 16 years old.
Wow.
We got to work at like all of these different concerts and fireworks and soccer games and walk around and hand out pizza. So it was a lot of fun.
That would be super fun. I would live for that. I'm like, pizza is the best. Meeting people's fun. Put those together.
Exactly. And I can still recite like the alphabet of pizza toppings, which is so funny. Anyway, um,
I'm like, what is the alphabet of pizza
well,
topping?
I'll start. A is salami, B is beef, cheddar, D is shrimp. Anyway, it's hilarious. I can't believe I can still remember that. Yeah, so that taught me a lot, having responsibility at such a young age. And I was so grateful to have my best friend at the time because, I was going through a lot of family stuff. So I always had a great, great girlfriend that was such a support to me.
Mm.
And we were such a support to each other. And we just had a really great teenage life together, just the two of us. So
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for that, to have had that person in my life during that time. And then I don't really remember how I got this job, but I worked at a call center, telemarketing, like
Mhm.
cold calling.
Yep.
And it's hilarious because I was really, really good at it.
I
Instant.
believe that because 'cause you're good at talking to people, and honestly, I have done similar things. It's about connecting, like, I mean, you can speak to people and just get on their level. I don't
Yeah.
know why, but same. Like, it just works.
Yeah, so that was pretty wild, wild times. But again, it taught me a lot of responsibility. I worked, every day after high school, and then once I graduated, I worked there 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. In
Yeah.
between all of this madness, I did go to boarding school for circus and acting, which is very, very random. That's a whole
That's
nother thing to get
cool.
into.
Oh my god, I'm like, "What can you do?" Do you say circus?
Yes, I can't do it really anything
I'm
anymore.
like, what can you do? What is your talent, girl?
But I mean, again, it was all of these crazy experiences.
I'm sorry, I just think that is so cool. I'm like, were you really flexible? What did you do? Like, what?
Well, I was pretty flexible. I did some, it was like, like I said, acting mixed with circus. So every few months we would
Yes.
do a performance. I'd say the craziest thing that I did was like an oversized shopping cart. Of course, they made me the mall girl,
Yes.
with the wallet full of credit cards. And I did a bridge over top of another girl doing a bridge while someone was wheeling up
Yes.
and down in the shopping cart. Yeah, so that's probably
That's
the
amazing. I
craziest.
think that is so entertaining. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I mean, the sad part of this is the school was super abusive.
Oh,
But
that,
yeah, at least I got to get something out of it, right? So,
yeah. But I'm sure that in itself, even the awful parts were so shaping in your life. Like I noticed even myself, abusive situations and trauma, even though while I was in it, I was like, oh my God, once I've removed out of it, it really like ignited my
absolutely.
spiritual dark night of the soul healing journey so hard. Like,
Oh yeah, I've been through so much and I don't really like regret. If I could go back in time, I would still go through the trauma because um
preach.
yeah, maybe not all the trauma, but yeah, I guess I'll rewind a little bit. I'm a middle child, with two brothers.
Hmm.
Um, always very girly, but I was dressed like a little biker girl. Um, when I was a little girl, it's just so funny because now that's super in. Everyone's wearing
Yes.
combat boots and biker coats, and I'm like, I just still want to wear pretty little pink dresses because I never got to do that. I was forced to have really long hair my entire childhood and even teenage years. So, now I always have a short haircut and I love it.
Yes. Rocking it. I love it too. It's gorgeous.
Thank you so much.
Do you have like a first memory of something that really rocked you and you were like, okay, I can either go this way or I can go this way and I can heal from this and learn? And like, what was your process for that, I guess? Because I found with my own journey, like, I numbed so much at
Mm.
first to cope with certain pain. And then once, the pain got bigger and the events got bigger and it got so huge where I was like, I can't run away from this anymore. Like I have to choose dealing with all of the things. So do you have like a pivotal moment like that?
Yes, the pivotal moment would be when I was 18 years old. I decided to go to school for child and youth counseling,
Mhm.
just because my counselor, growing up, she really changed my life, and she was really an amazing woman, and just like showed me like so much love, and so of course she was my role model. So
Yeah.
I asked her, what did you go to school for? And I took the exact same program. It was pretty competitive to get in, but I got in. I got some scholarships, I got bursaries, and I was working really hard. I didn't even know for sure if that's what I wanted to do. I was just so young and
Yeah.
impressionable, and someone made such an impact on my life. So, I wanted to be them.
Mhm.
So I was in the program and, child and youth counseling, and I was like learning about all this crazy stuff that I already knew about it because I had lived through it, right?
Yeah.
And just so much stuff about if you've experienced or witnessed abuse, you can't feel emotions,
Mhm.
you can't have empathy. So I was consistently raising my hand and actually I'm very empathetic and I've been through this, uh,
Mhm.
stuff like that. And I was instantly an outcast. I was just different than everyone else because everyone else had these like judging eyes that they had never actually been through anything, and they thought that
Yeah.
they could just learn, old school psychology to help people, right? And I was trying to spread awareness of actually,
Yeah.
you can learn a lot from living through trauma. So long
Absolutely. And like
short.
I like that you push those boundaries because
Oh,
I love the holistic approach to things because and we as humans, there's so much out there we don't know. Like there's so much and I love that you approach it with the I'm such a feeler, like I'm all about the
yeah,
feel. So anything with empathy and openness, like and honestly,
yep.
our world would function so much better if we took away the money greed power and focused a little more on love and light and compassion. Oh my God. So
So
I
true.
love that you were there to shake that up.
Thank you. I mean, I was very alone in it, and even during then, I didn't really have a support system anymore.
Mm.
I was 18 years old, living completely on my own. Like sometimes I'd have to take back like pop bottles just to pay rent. Like I was
Yeah.
working hard and in school and just trying to stand up for what I believe in. And it was a lot. And during that time, like my older brother was addicted to drugs, and he would be showing up at my house, and I'd have to help him at such a young age while I'm
Yes.
working full time and in school. And of course, one of the classes I was taking was addictions, and of course I got an A because, well, my brother was addicted to drugs, so I knew what was
Yeah.
going on.
You were living it.
I was succeeding in the classes, but the only thing was the teachers hated me. And it came to the point where I had to write all of these essays, and a lot of them had to do with like stuff that you have been through, right? And one of them was about my brother and everything like that. And what happened was all the teachers gathered together and they basically said, "We don't think this program is a fit for you. We're concerned for you. You're clearly going through stuff. You clearly have trauma and this and that. And maybe you can come back in a year." And this made no sense because I literally had just got $1,000 bursary for most improved student. I was
Yeah.
succeeding. I had one teacher stick up for me, and she was the Indigenous teacher, and she was like teaching about Indigenous culture and history.
Mhm.
So yeah, I had no choice, and that's when my life really changed, and I was like, I am not taking anything like this again. And
No.
I'm going to do the best that I can to advocate for people like me, that have been through some crazy shit, and they're told that they should be a statistic, and proving
And
otherwise.
you're still here. Yeah. You're like,
It's still living.
actually,
Exactly. And I don't sometimes I wonder, is that a really good is that the best motivation? You want to prove people wrong, but hey, I am a double Scorpio, so
there you go.
mess with me, you know what? I'll show you.
I'm like, what's your birth chart now? I'm like, hmm.
Well, I'm born on Witch's Night, the day before Halloween.
Amazing.
What's
What
your
is your I know we're like, okay, we're like getting into it, but like okay, what's your sun, moon, and rising? Let's just keep it simple, I guess.
my sun is Scorpio, my moon is Scorpio, my rising is Gemini.
Amazing. I am a Taurus sun, Pisces moon, Cancer rising. So
Oh,
that's where all the emotions come. But I have a lot
yeah.
of Gemini. I have Scorpio going on. I think the
Yeah.
Gemini is the chatty part of me. So that's like my Venus and everything. I'm like, let's talk.
Yeah.
Scorpio queen. I'm here for it.
Thank
Your season's coming.
It is, and I'm actually going to be in Paris for my birthday.
Oh my God, that's so magical. Is it just a for fun trip or business
Just for
trip?
fun, yeah. Right before COVID, 2019, Justin and my partner and I went to Greece because I've always wanted to go to Greece,
Me
and it
too.
was amazing. I've that's my first time going to Europe was Greece and Italy in 2019,
Oh my God,
and
you have to tell me everything when we're done because I'm like, tell me where to go
absolutely.
and not to
Oh,
go.
I will send you everything. Um,
Yay.
I fell in love with it. Like I've never been at more peace and happiness. And as an animal lover, there's cats and dogs everywhere.
Yes, give me the animals.
I was just in paradise. Like I had a fanny pack full of cat food the whole time. And
Noted. Bring
great.
cat treats.
Yep. So going back to Greece because I loved it, and then going to be in south of France, and then Paris for my birthday. You
Oh
know,
my God. I can't wait to see the pictures, the videos. It's going to be I'm such a romantic too. I'm like, it's going to be so romantic. Oh my God. That's so fun. I like squirrel brain central. So we'll be talking about 5,000 things all at the same time in this episode. All right. So we're bringing it back. So you knew from that, you were like, I'm never going to do this. What happened next?
oh God, yeah, great question. I think that's kind of where my entrepreneurial mindset came from because I was like, okay, well, I'm
Mm.
obviously against the grain here, and I'm not fitting into the society's system of, how things should be. So, I did spend the next few years really just financially struggling and really just being on my own and, helping friends. And I'm in my early 20s at this point, partying, of course, having fun,
Yes.
you know, being
I feel
wild.
that. Yep. My early 20s, I'm like, oh God. I'm like, thank God you chose the growth path because
Yes. My God. So yeah, it took me a few years, it made me realize what I wanted in life, but I just wasn't ready to go for it yet. And
I feel parallel lives with you right now. It's wild because I
oh,
totally understand that.
yeah, and it was traumatic. I'm definitely not recovered from the trauma of,
No.
being kicked out like that. It was just absolutely terrible. And
Mhm.
like I still to this day fantasize about taking them down.
The double Scorpio is here.
Oh yeah, and like truly, eventually I would like to do some motivational speaking when I'm
Yes.
way older. Well, not too old because that main bitch that was the teacher needs to still be alive. so then I can go to the school and she can hear me be a motivational speaker.
Mhm.
And, you know,
Absolutely. Look at you go though. Like look again, I know we're still getting into the nooks and crannies of your story, but even just based on what we've heard so far, look at you.
thank you.
Like I feel in life, I don't often give myself credit off like and my partner, he's always like, "Babe," he's like, "Zoom out." He's like, "Look at everything." And I cuz I don't look at myself like that.
Right.
And I feel like we need to do that more. We need to celebrate our motherfucking wins and how far we've come cuz girl,
Or-
like
Yeah.
cheers,
Yeah.
cheers to you. Like
Uh, And I
cheers
am,
our water.
there's my Scorpio sticker on my cup.
I love that. I'm here for it.
I hear you.
Um
Trying harder to, have more gratitude, just daily gratitude. And
mhm.
not just about my life, just about everything that is in my life, right?
Oh, for sure. And I feel like too, when you express that gratitude, it just multiplies in your life. And one thing I love to do is like, I'm sure based on this conversation, you're into like the signs and synchronicities of life and just little symbols you see everywhere. And sometimes too, like universe speaks to me million different ways all day, every day. But numbers, of course, is big. It's big for a lot of people. But they're always like, "Oh, did you make a wish?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, I just express my gratitude because it just helps me feel like I'm not alone and like I am protected and I'm like, okay, the universe has my back, like keep going. Cause with the entrepreneurial world, like you need that a support system in some way, wherever you get your support, whether it be physically with people,
Hmm.
your animals can be support, spirit, whatever you look to, because some days like it's up to you to keep going. Like you don't have someone being like, you have to do this. You have to do it
Oh,
yourself.
it is absolutely up to you. And I've had so many points in my life where it's been only me.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's important, especially like a lot of people can be a support for you, but they haven't experienced the same stuff that you have, right? So they
Exactly.
don't actually
Exactly.
know what you're going through. I mean, no one knows what everyone's deep down going through, right? So you have
Right.
to be able to support yourself.
Yeah. Do you find you have independent woman syndrome? Because I have that big time. I'm like, I have a hard time leaning on people sometimes. I'm like, I know in order for this to progress to a certain level, like I have to allow others in to see my vision and help with it. But I'm also very artistic. So it's like my heart and soul goes into these things. So that's something I'm currently working on. I'm like, hey, you don't have
Yeah.
to be a lone wolf forever. You can allow others who align with you, of course. It can't just be random people but they can help you. So I feel that way sometimes. I battle that because I've always been like, well, no, if I want to do it right, I'll just do it myself. Like, or I
I
got this. I can
totally
do.
like that too. Yeah, I actually truthfully kind of sometimes have a hard time working with others.
Yeah. Well, because like you know what you want and you can see it and you know you're gonna do it to again maybe it's a little bit of perfectionism in me too, but you're gonna put your all into that, right? You
Exactly.
know.
And I just have such a hard time dealing with people that self-doubt and make things more complicated. I just like to get stuff done and just do it and not like stress about like the fashion show. We only had a few months to plan this huge, huge fashion show. And I'm really glad that I had an amazing, amazing person on my side that I hired to help me run it. And I connected with her quite a while ago. It was so random how we met. And I've always had people and friends in my life that are a lot older than me. I definitely know that in my past life, I'm an old soul, right? So I feel like I've lived many lives.
Same.
So I work really well with older people that don't have ego.
Oh my God, there's a reason we're having this freaking conversation today. All my guests who really align with me every single time there's an episode and you guys are speaking, I'm like, oh, thank you, universe, because like, it's just stuff I've either just been talking about or it's
Yeah.
so relevant right now. Preach on dropping the ego. And so many people are like, oh,
Yes.
ego. They don't even know what ego is. I'm like, it's not
Exactly.
being full of yourself. We all
Yeah.
have ego.
Not that.
It's the self. It's like, oh my
Stop
God.
self-doubt. I
Yeah.
like aligning with people that like know that they have so much to give and they know their worth and they're not
Mhm.
afraid. And yeah, they honestly love themselves.
Yes, queen. That's what it all comes down to. Like when you give yourself that love, you have to give yourself that love because you're a beautiful, freaking divine, magical goddess being. One, that's just one thing, and to fully align into your soul's highest good and being, you have to show yourself that. And it can be challenging. Like depending on your story, like we're just saying, whatever you've been through, but we have to drop that and give ourselves that love because that's the
Yeah,
only way forward.
absolutely. So true.
Yes, queen. Okay. So, with your businesses, did you start those like right after you let go of going to school, or was that kind of a bit more of a process?
That was definitely more of a process. Like honestly, almost 5 years in between. I just wasn't in the right point of my life, I guess,
Hmm.
like I said, so young, figuring out what I wanted. You know what really got me to start doing the businesses was self-help. That's when I got into
Yeah.
self-help and when I started like learning about manifesting and learning about like
Mhm.
positive thinking, affirmations, and I just became so addicted to reading self-help books. And that's when I was like, oh my God, this was in me. But now I'm ready.
Yes. Okay. This is just too freaky. I'm like, which book could I pull out from right here, right now? Because
I
I
literally
feel
have
the same.
books beside me that I have ready to share with you
Yes.
that
Let's
changed
share
my
it
life.
now. We might as well. Yeah. We're on this topic.
Well,
Let's
the
go for
first
it.
one is like so popular. Everyone
Hmm.
should read it. Is the Four Agreements.
Yes.
Love that one. I highly recommend it. Really gets you just thinking about the best way to kind of live your life and your thought process.
Mm.
And then I was obsessed with the author, so I got another book called Voice of Knowledge.
Ooh, I
And then
haven't
his
seen that one.
son started writing books. As well. And the one that he wrote is called Living in the Light. So this is Four Agreements, Voice of Knowledge, and then Living in the Light.
I love
Those were
that.
the ones that changed my life the most. I also read another book called Personal Power Through Awareness. And yeah, just being aware of manifestation and how your thoughts manifest reality and like just believing in that. Uh,
Mm.
that's when everything shifted for me, right? Because I did live in
I
a little
love
bit of
that.
victim mentality for a while when I was younger. Poor me,
Yes.
and that's never going to take you anywhere.
So true. And like, when you're dealing with stuff, honor what you feel, of course, but like at some point you have to let go of the things that have happened because any one of us could get stuck in that loop and it's exactly that. It's like a merry-go-round that you can't get off and you have to
Yeah,
snap something, snap out of it and
exactly.
find a way to move forward and out of that because it's almost like when like how negative energy it just like festers and it spreads and it's gross and it
Yeah,
can get hard to get out of that mud. It's like that. Like you have to readjust the focus and what do you choose to focus on because it's a
exactly.
choice,
Hmm.
right? And it can change your life. Like I could
Yeah.
not agree with you more because I feel like I've always been into manifestation, but obviously with like trauma, time, learning, healing, have learned so much more about it and it's so true how you think, how you speak, like
Gosh. To this day, like I'm just obsessed with manifesting. Like, I've read also a bunch of witchcraft books. Like I'm super
yeah.
into all of that. And so I do have, rituals that I do. Um, I made a vision board like, I don't know, 6 months ago, and then I had it up and then it fell. And then I didn't put it back up because I don't know what it was, but I was like, I don't want to stare at this every day yet. Like I put a lot of visions on here, like
Uh-huh.
this is intense, I don't know what it was, like maybe the fear of everything kind of coming true. Um, but it's really crazy because just a few weeks ago, I was getting ready for the trip and cleaning my bedroom, and I kind of pulled it up, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is so fucked up." Like the Eiffel Tower is on there, and I'm there.
Oh
Like,
my god, I literally was about to scream. I just got so excited. Like, shut up.
and yeah, like, and then a lot of these things that are on there were on there, and I just couldn't even believe I wasn't even looking at it every day. It's just, and then I was thinking, imagine if I did commit to looking at it every day, like, where would I even be now if this has fallen and I had forgotten about it and it's still coming true? It's so powerful.
So powerful. Like you put that intention out there and the
Yeah.
universe is like, received. Got it. I will
And,
bless you at some point.
I did put a big evil eye too. And
Mhm.
then I put something that said like my energy, what was it called? Like my energy is like, I can't remember what it is. My energy is like powerful or something, and I'm no longer giving it out for free. And then when I
Mm,
found that the other day, I was thinking, oh my God, yep, I don't put up with shit from people anymore. And
I like
I
that.
just don't. I've changed in the sense where, I mean, I come across as an extremely nice, kind person. But once people disrespect me, I don't take it, right?
Oh, yes. No, I totally get that. The Queen of Swords has to come out, protect that aura, girl. I could work on that. That's something that I feel like I have been working on as of
Yeah.
late, the past few months, like those people pleasing tendencies, which I
Mm,
understand when they were at their strongest. I had to for safety. Like like it was
totally.
how I navigated certain situations. But I'm not in that position at all anymore. And I'm like, you're safe. You're okay. You're loved. You're not in positions that are going to harm you. You don't need to do that. And if someone says something to you and you're like, no, you don't have to smile and take it. You
Yep.
can say something. Like,
It's still uncomfortable. Like it
mhm,
still feels so weird, just to defend yourself.
right?
But with practice, right?
Yes. I love you. I'm like, yes. I'm like, okay, you're gonna help me practice these things.
It's never gonna feel good. It's never gonna I mean, maybe it will eventually.
Hmm.
Because I just love to spread love, spread kindness, but setting boundaries doesn't mean you're not spreading love and kindness. It just means you're setting boundaries, right?
Mic drop, mic drop, mic drop. Listeners, listen to that right there. Setting boundaries does not mean you're not a good person. It does not mean you're not kind. It means you're loving yourself. Because there
Yes.
are people out there who do not have your best interests at heart, or they're too in their own ego, or whatever the case may be. They can't see they're harming you. And it's okay to be like, no, you don't get
It's
access.
okay.
Access denied.
Yeah. Access denied, and I'm still a good person.
Yes, and I can feel okay with that. I think that's so important for so many listeners to hear because like I know, we're not alone in feeling these things and I'm not saying it's just a woman thing, but sometimes I'm just like, we were all, the patriarchy wants you to say
Oh.
yes, be quiet, just keep your head down and I'm like, how about no? When you first started dabbling with like the jewelry and the candles and everything like that, was it just because, like you said, you thought, crystals are pretty, but like once you started learning more, like, I'm getting witchy now, but I love it. I'm like, when you make stuff, do you infuse it with like,
Of course. Yeah, definitely. Like, I cleanse all my crystals, of course.
yes.
Literally just make up my own method. I think that's what you should do. I don't think there should be rules in these things, like
Yep.
whatever feels good. Yeah, like I just put cold water and I only cleanse them when I'm in like a good mood. And I pour a little bit of salt and then I imagine good things. It all sounds so funny sometimes.
I love it. You're talking to the right person. I'm like, tell me more.
And yeah, I honestly just got a little bit bored of making just the jewelry, because I never took it to that next level because I didn't want to take crazy jewelry classes and get into all of that because I like to literally like be able to chill and like sit on the couch and have crystals in my hand and do it that way.
Yeah, it's like a therapy kind of thing.
It
It's not,
is. It really,
yeah.
really, really is. I mean, I would end up like staying up till 3, 4 a.m. though, like having so much fun making jewelry. And then I'm like, how the hell am I making this jewelry in the dark? Um, so I got a bit bored of that, and now I make the intention candles. So you'll
I
have to try.
love those. I creeped already and I was like, "Oh, I want that one. I want that one." Like, give me all the candles. I think they're so gorgeous. Like, I'm like, "Okay, anyone can they order them online too or is it just a
I
local?"
stopped doing that just because shipping is so crazy. And I don't want people to have to pay
Mhm.
so much for shipping. Like it's insane.
Yeah.
Like shipping within Canada, a candle is like $25 to ship.
Oh, it's
Like,
crazy. I'm like, "What?"
what?
Yeah. But
So
if they're in Vancouver, do you want to let everyone know where they can find all your beautiful beautiful goodies?
yeah, so my candles and jewelry actually, they're at the Nooks Kitsilano in West Fourth. The Nooks is really great. They have a whole bunch of different artists and vendors there, all so many different things. Yeah, it's a great place. I'm going to be adding ritual bath soaks soon, which will
Yes.
be rose petals, lavender, coconut milk powder, and
Yeah.
Epsom salt. So
Okay, come to mama. Like, I'm so here for all of that. I'm like, yes, because it's a way to connect to yourself and your spirituality. And obviously, have beautiful candle while you're doing it. But even some of like the full moon rituals and stuff I'll do, I like candles anyway. So I'm like, why don't I get a beautiful infused one that's going to give the
yeah.
beautiful energy?
Yeah, so I have Serenity candle, for example, with tangerine aura quartz and calendula petals, and that's for relaxing. I
Yeah.
have Crystal Vision with amethyst and lavender, and that's for increasing your psychic abilities.
Hmm.
And okay, I could go on and on, but
I'm
I'll have
like, tell
more.
me more. I love hearing all of these things.
Well, my favorite one is New Beginnings. And those are the most popular. And
Mm.
it's angel aura quartz, and everything's vegan soy wax. And then it's I just collect flowers and I dry them, and then it's just flower petals.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Like I'm an earth child, so I'm just like, yes, sprinkle all that beautiful Mother Earth in there. I love that.
There's a small risk that a little petal will catch fire, but I mean, isn't that worth
Small
it?
risk. Yes, right?
Keep your eye on it. That's
That's
all.
life.
Like, it's very, very small risk, but I mean, I know that I almost put it in another store and they were like, "Well, there's a risk here." And I'm like, "Yeah, the best things in life have a little bit of a risk."
Yes, they do, honey. Yes, they do.
The petal burns, the air is now cleansed, okay? So,
Yeah, and like the universe wanted it to happen. Maybe it needed to get your attention about something. You never know. Do you have a favorite crystal?
I would say honestly, black tourmaline because it's the ultimate
Mm,
protection stone, right? And I do think
right?
it works, so yeah.
I do too. I have that in my car. And it's funny because like I'm
Nice.
not generally drawn to like when I look at the crystals I'm always drawn to, it's either like selenite's white or the
Oh,
pretty
I love that's my
blue.
second favorite. Selenite is so calming.
So
Oh, I
spiritual,
hold a piece right now, but I'll wait.
right? I know, I know. I'm like eyeing mine up over there. The crystals are calling to us, everyone. But it's true. I genuinely, when I hold that, I can feel that in every
Oh,
fiber of my being. It's so powerful. But
especially selenite. I can really, really feel it. It's
yeah, it's wild. And celestite is such a beautiful blue. Like I find I like the blues, the pinks, and like,
right.
amethyst purple. But then with black tourmaline, it's like such an opposite thing, like for me to go to, but I had to have it. I was like, yeah, yeah, I need this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's another thing too, everyone listening. If you're like not sure or you haven't dabbled into the crystal life, it's not like Christina was saying, it's not something you need to overthink. It's not
No.
complicated. And I think that's something important to note. It's go with what you feel because your intuition always knows best. And don't overthink that either.
And
Like,
even same with like witchcraft. Like I know that it's becoming kind of popular. You don't have to look up like how to do this spell. It has to be done exactly this way. You have to write it this way. Literally, there's no rules.
mhm.
Do what feels good to you.
That's right. Because, like, when you're tapping into that, it's your soul knows. And if you've connected to that in past lives or whatever the case may be, I honestly feel like if you're connected to it, like we were saying, since we were so young, like, I have a friend, she's a medium, and she does a lot of past life Akashic life readings. And I really want her to do one because that's kind of like she's amazing at everything, but she even says herself she's very tapped into that in
Okay.
particular.
I'm
And
curious.
I'm like, "Oh, I'll send her to you. She's in California. She's amazing." It's so again, she was brought to me in a random way, and I'm like, we were meant to be in each other's lives, like so random.
Those are the best relationships for sure.
I think it's honestly it's those soul connections, and you don't question it. It's just so simple. Like it's easy. You connect and you just
Yeah.
feel it.
Yeah, like I deal with like anxiety on a regular basis, and like right before this call I didn't have anxiety because I just felt connected with you,
Yay.
right? So I took that as a pretty good sign.
Right? And even like when we met, we spoke for just such a brief moment, and it was just quick and instant, but it just I don't know, it just worked. It was great.
Yeah, I mean the pink helped.
Oh, for sure. That was a great, great moment. But like we're saying, trust that intuition because I think too, I lost so much trust in myself throughout life, just not only others betraying me, but betraying myself. Like,
Right.
staying places too long. And again, divine timing's everything 100%. But sometimes those lessons I need to be taught hard a lesson. Like,
Yes.
and I
Mhm.
again, in the past few years have tried to listen more to that initial intuition, like and I think when you give your brain a second to come in and sabotage, don't. Whatever this says, yes, no, go with what that says first, don't think.
I so agree because your brain will do that if you let it.
And mine does it so easily, and I'm like, "Oh, like, I have to pump the brakes so fast." I'm like, "No, no, no. What did that gut just say? Stop, brain. You wanna go squirrel brain and give me 5,000,000 things to think about? Stop." Like
Yeah, definitely. And that's where the self-help stuff does come into play because it's like it becomes embedded in your brain that it's kind of there when you're in dark moments and you kind of just you can't help but remember, oh yeah, okay, I read this, okay, I remembered this, okay, this has helped me before, things are going to get better, this will pass, this is just a moment. One of my favorite things I'll tell you is when like, well, not my favorite things, but something that's helped me is you're at your lowest point
Mhm.
and like crying so upset, and like have you ever had a shower and then you just end up like sit crying in the shower.
Oh my God, are we? I swear to God, I've had people laugh at me because and even sometimes when I'm not crying, I'm like, I'm just gonna sit in the shower and meditate for a bit. It's
Yes.
gonna be better.
So I honestly don't remember if I read this or if it just came to me. I wish I could remember, but this is what I do now. When I'm in that moment, I'm like, oh shit, I'm at my lowest. I am cry showering right now. So what I started doing was when when that happens, it doesn't happen like, on a regular basis or anything, but when that happens, I just like see the water and then I just like imagine myself like pulling myself up like the water's a rope and I pretend that it's and I
Yeah.
literally do this with my hands until I get up and I'm just like, okay, this water is a rope and I've pulled myself up.
Yes,
So
I
that's the one
love
that
that.
helped me. Hopefully it'll help you
Oh,
next time.
for sure. Oh, I love that because like I always visualize the water cleansing me. I'm like, get rid of all this. But I like that. If you're like down and out and you're in the shower sitting crying, use that water as a rope, guys.
Yes, it does work, and then you feel really proud of yourself because 'cause you're like, "Okay, I got through this, I clearly needed that, and now enough is enough."
Exactly. And like what I love about that practice is everyone can do it. Sometimes I think the world makes you think like it's this complicated thing to be able to do certain practices to help yourself, but it's not. Lean into what feels, even if it feels weird, just lean into it because I'm all about the weirdness. I'm like, let's go into that more, you know?
Yeah, big time.
Right? Because if it resonates with you, it resonates for a reason. And I feel like we need to like tap back into our inner child and be like, what did I like then? Or like you could imagine anything was possible or you connected so easy with nature. And to me, that's just I do it now. I'm like, I am that person. You'll see me like just go touch a tree for a bit. I'm like, let me
Yes,
absorb you.
I literally did that yesterday, that's so funny that you say that. I went for a hike. It was very mossy, and I just had to touch it.
Just have to touch it. I know. I totally feel that. And like once you do, you're like, ooh, okay, I feel those vibes you're putting out.
I don't stand there, hug it, and cry. I touch it and move on.
Acknowledge you here. Yes, there's no cry, shower, sitting with the trees, guys.
Unicorn Dreams formed and started because when I was a kid, and when I was going through some pretty severe trauma, I would go for walks or I would just envision a unicorn. And when I went for walks, the unicorn would be like flying above me.
Yes.
I just still like when I'm just at a low moment, I just think of like my unicorn spirit guide. And that's why I
Mhm.
call it unicorn dreams because unicorn dreams, that's what got me through life is just like remaining spiritual, remaining like with a big imagination. Anything's possible, anything's out there. We have an infinite amount of possibilities. We have so much opportunity here, right? So I still want to do a
Yeah.
thousand things with my life.
I'm the same. I'm just like, it's just, and that's something I have to remember. I'm like, hey, stop. You know, you have big dreams, but one step at a time, honey. Just one step at a time. I struggle so much because I'm like, I want to do it all now. I could do it. No, just one thing at a time.
It's so tempting though. I get it.
Oh man, and I'm just like, I know eventually it'll be so many different things all at once, but I know I can't jump from here all the way there. I have to do all the little steps, and I'm just like, for all the dreamers out there, I feel your pain. 'Cause
Yeah, but stop dreaming.
yes, we got to keep on dreaming. And like, I love that you visualize the unicorn from such a young age, and then put her in fruition into your biz. Like again, it's connecting to what made sense to you as a child, right?
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with that. Embrace
No,
it.
I'm here for the embracing of that.
It was so great to share, be open with you. So thank you for providing a safe space.
Absolutely, and that's what it is here. Like it has to be. And in life, I look for those safe spaces in people, in places, in things. And like you said, going with what resonates. Before we get all your socials and everything, is there any final words of wisdom? You dropped a really beautiful bit of wisdom on us, but if you have anything else, we're always all ears to hear it.
I mean, I would just say don't let your past and trauma define you. Don't let other people's expectations of you define how you live your life.
Yes, mama. It's funny again you say that because I think today I actually posted something that literally was just about that, like about not
No way.
focusing like on the past. It's so weird. The synchronicities, they keep coming.
Absolutely amazing.
I love it. Well, let's plug in your social medias, your website, anything. So if anyone resonates with Christina today, you can connect and she'll let us know how.
Yeah, so for the markets, we actually have two markets coming up Christmas time, December 17th and 18th at Yaletown Roundhouse. Instagram for that is VHS Markets, and website is vhsmarkets.com. And Unicorn Dreams Beauty. You can find my stuff at the Nooks in Kitsilano. And then if you feel like checking out my personal Instagram and connecting, it's KC, my initials, Kristina Cressman, KC Unicorn.
Perfect. I love it. So, all of the tea drinkers listening, if you resonate with Kristina, you're curious to see more of what she does, I'll have everything linked. If you're watching on YouTube, it'll be in the description box below. If you're listening via podcast, it'll be all in the show notes. So, there'll be no trouble connecting if you wish to. And again, I want to thank you so much for joining me today and just sharing your light. And I'm just like, I just want to know more. I'm like, I need to know this girl more.
I feel the same. I'm really happy to connect, and we should definitely do happy hour when I'm back from Europe.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, I forgot about that. I know I'll be seeing all the beautiful pictures and videos. I'm so excited for you. It's so nice to get away, especially places that resonate so deeply. So I'm excited for you.
Thank you so much, Kaylee. It was so great chatting with you today. I'm in a really great mood now, and I'm going to go touch my crystals.
Yes, I love that. That's how I want to leave every guest. I'm in a great mood and I'm going to go touch
Yes!
now.
No cry showering, just crystal touch.
No, yes. Oh, I love it. Well, that is our tea time for today, everyone. I want to thank all the listeners, viewers for integrating your beautiful energy into this podcast. It would not be what it is without all of you. So if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. It'll just help build up our community. And if you're listening via podcast, give us a 5-star rating. I love to know your thoughts, your feedback, all the goodness. And we will see you next time.